So I was watching Professor Anton's response to nicotine about virtue ethics, and being a Whiteheadian, I can immediately thought of what Whitehead was saying about beauty. It's interesting in Whitehead's system. He actually subsumes ethics under aesthetics. Doesn't talk about good and bad. He talks about beauty. It's kind of confusing in a sense that kind of mixes up the three classical categories of the good, the beautiful, and the true. But of course, I think we can simply see the good as in the same terms that we think of beauty, in terms of the harmoniousness of particular actions and particular qualities. Um, and he talks about the intensity of beauty and the duration, and the beauty for the whole. And so um, it kind of has resonances with utilitarianism, but I think it avoids a key error of utilitarianism, which is utilitarianism tends to reduce ethics to merely pleasure and pain, um, whereas beauty is kind of a more all-embracing concept. Um, and a beautiful piece of music can have dissonant notes in it that contribute to the greater overall beauty. And I remember Professor Anton had made some videos before about is it better to just be relaxing, a bunch of couches, people fanning you uh, uh, with palm leaves and feeding you grapes, or is it better to live a purposeful life and stuff? And so yeah, I think there's higher levels of beauty beyond mere um, you know, beyond merely hedonistic pleasure. And so also utilitarianism tries to sort of hedonic calculus, where it sort of takes the intensity of a pleasure, its duration, the number of people it affects, and tries to calculate using that what is the best ethical decision. And that can get you into a lot of trouble. I think Robert Nozick talked about the utility monster who was able to derive more utility than anyone else, out of out of any one thing, and therefore the most ethical thing is to please that utility monster. Um, but Whitehead doesn't do that. He says that he basically leaves it up to the individual to decide whether we want to prefer in any one case the the short-term intense pleasure or the long-term sustained pleasure. Well, not pleasure, but short-term beauty, long-term beauty, beauty for the greater whole, beauty for the individual. Um, but I think that's where virtue ethics come into play, because the virtue ethics, the cultivation of these qualities in the individual contributes to an interior beauty, and that's why that's where I think this kind of the ethics as aesthetics kind of comes into play. It bridges the sort of exterior ethics of deontology and consequentialism with the interior ethics of virtue ethics. Yeah, by cultivating these qualities within yourself, contributing to this interior beauty, you're able to affect a greater exterior beauty through one's ethical decisions, um, and uh, achieve higher level needs. And that's where it kind of goes into sort of developmental view of ethics with like Lawrence Kohlberg's um, descriptive ethics, and then gets into like spiral dynamics, just the sort of going from egocentric to ethnocentric to world-centric, and your sphere of ethical consideration expanding as you sort of expand your sense of self. Um, but of course, beauty remains ambiguous, and I think that's how ethics ultimately have to be. There has to be some sort of ambiguity because it's always going to be a certain it's always going to be a choice between the who benefits, what is the sort of intensity and duration of the beauty, and there's never an easy answer to that. So the best answer is to develop these positive qualities within yourself, to develop greater discernment on those issues. So I guess I'll just leave it there for now. Peace.